welcome to the fourth and final review of the evening. Up this time is Tomomi. Tomomi is full of hilarious dialogue and comical encounters. A super exhilarating Metroidvania action game. A new super weapon has been developed by the evil organization Animalia. Enter Tomomi, a hero for hire. Joining her is Rico, the supporter. Their mission: infiltrate the Animalia complex and stop their evil plans. Right. So yeah. Um. Oh, Petty. There is an English option.
Oh, there is.
Yes. Like, well, you'll have to go out and actually select that from the settings. Like, anyway, while he's doing that, so I suppose the first thing we got to address here is the art. Like, how do I put this? It's like I'm just trying to search for the right word here. Like, I don't want to say amateurish because that might convey the wrong message about the game in general, but it's like there's a definite amateur quality to the character design. Putting aside the ridiculous, let's say 12-year-old anatomy lessons going on with the character of Tomomi. Like, I mean, yes, I hope I don't have to point out not just the fact that she has prominent breasts, but that they are like literal bowling balls.
Yeah.
This is somebody who's just hitting puberty's idea of what sexiness looks like. Like, so yeah, this game does have a bit of raciness to it. Also, like further along in the blurbs here, yeah, Tomomi likes the girls, so that comes up in dialogue every now and again. Like, also panties is a item you can collect. Been a while since I've seen that Japan.
Yeah.
But, if anyone's going to come through, it's going to be like an old school game like this. Though I will note, it is like an actual pair of panties you can collect, not a panty shot. So
less prison worthy, still not great.
Yeah. So yeah, the art could use some work. Like, honestly, it's the weakest aspect of the game. Not the only weak area. Like, as far as a Metroidvania goes, I think I'm going to agree with friend of MSP, the Metroidvania Guru's assessment on that. In this is barely a Metroidvania. Like, it will tick the very basic boxes here of what a Metroidvania is. I.e., you go to different sections, you fight bosses, you get upgrades, you unlock gates. There are some hidden areas, but not a lot. Honestly, this entire game is not very big. This game is not very long. I think it took me about 5 hours to run through the whole thing at almost 100%. I think it was 98% of the map, which for a first time is, a lot of it. The point is, this is kind of the alternative counterpoint to, say, Hollow Knight or Silk Song. The Metroidvanias that take you know like 100 hours or something like that to get through. I know that is not most Metroidvanias, but Hollow Knight and its sequel do need to be specifically called out for how bloated they are.
Mm.
Yeah. Not necessarily a bad thing, but they're big game. This is a small game. Not just in terms of structure, and but also like the actual graphics are pretty tiny. In general, not everything. Like like some of the bosses are pretty big. Um, and as far as the actual upgrades, once again, they're not throwing any surprises. Like if you've played a Metroidvania, an exploratory action game, you probably know what you're in for. Like try to guess what the first upgrade is.
Missile.
It's
The
either a
double jump.
slide or a double jump.
Double jump. This game does not have a slide, surprisingly.
Slightly less surprising considering the character art style and size.
Yeah, but like it'll go up to a very not good grappling hook. Like Bionic Commando, this game isn't like easily the worst mechanic in the game was the grappling hook. Ooh, God, it just did not work right. Didn't feel good. Um, just a mess. But those are the weak aspects of the game. Um, why you should play this? Um, it's actually a pretty good action platformer. Like, it's not a really good Metroidvania. Like, it's a good, it's a good action platformer. Like, the kind of game you would encounter on the NES quite a bit. More Clash at Demon Head than Metroid, if that makes any sense. Like, but if it doesn't, so game feel is a really hard thing to convey, but this game has that certain Japanese je ne sais quoi, like that height platforming, jumping, it, that you really only get from Japanese platformers. Like I don't think I've ever played a Western platformer that truly gets it right. Even the ones that are done in homage. Not saying that's a bad thing, but Japanese like true Japanese principles of game design are probably hyper specific. Like um the point is, if you've played a lot of NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis games, that kind of thing, you'll be right at home here. Once again, Tomomi doesn't have a large arsenal here, at least at first. Right now, Petty's only got her sword swings, the circle jump, and the shuriken. Now, the other side of the power up equation is the shop, where you can buy various power ups, which are more RPG like than anything else. Like, that's where you get a lot of the HP ups, MP ups, stronger swords. You can also find them on, in the world, as you can see here. But and the shop does offer more powers, but those are really expensive. Um, that being said, the game, at least the first go around, not really necessary or even desirable to get anything resembling 100% of the store items, especially when the second wave comes in. The really expensive stuff. I ended up buying the spectral katana. Um, also, this all culminates in the hidden weapon, which is a ridiculously huge axe that's fairly slow but very
You
powerful
gotta
and
have
can.
melee weapons that cover like an eighth of the screen.
This game has that. Um, you have to do some digging, but it has that. You may not like it because the axe swings so slow, but it's so big and it can take care of projectiles. Like, and enemies, they spawn Mega Man style, or Metroid style. You leave a room, they will respond, which is actually something that goes up to and including the bosses. Like if you are going to grind, that's probably a good place to grind because the bosses, if you save and come back, they will respawn and you can kill them over again. So, um, see, this is what I'm talking about. While most things are small, this boss is pretty huge.
Mm.
It might look intimidating. Pro tip, Petty: you can destroy the cannon and those green rings. Like you jump and you will shatter them, or slice them, whatever. Um, and as far as the music goes, once again, maybe not surprisingly catchy, and but it's I don't want to say it's chiptune music necessarily, but it's definitely music that would be right at home on a Super Nintendo. Like this game looks like a Super Nintendo game, in most respects. Though maybe the sprite work is NES level. Like, you didn't really get a lot of Super Nintendo games with sprites this small, or if you did, it'd be in the early days. I mean, that was kind of one of the things that sold the 16-bit era.
Yeah,
Look how
aside from the color depth and the cut-ins, the sprite size looks like it's from and detail and stuff looks like it's mostly from an earlier generation than most of the rest of the graphics.
yeah. But the thing that really sells the Super Nintendo of it all is like the color palette. Um,
That's fair.
like a Genesis game did not look this colorful. Mm. And yeah, like you've got the warp, kind of Symphony of the Night style, though. Oh right, and this was a bit. How do I put this? Uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Um,
literally, yeah.
because speaking of tropes from the '90s, this this is some very stereotypical framing of a Chinese person. Like I do remember anime doing this. Wasn't good then. It's not good now. And the music sounds, once again, stereotypically, this is what China sounds like. Yeah, it turns out Japan did that shit too.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Ram, the one half. Like, anyway, it all. I won't say it's more than the sum of its parts because it really isn't. It's just the strong parts of this game very much outweigh the weak parts. But I think it's a matter of expectations. If you're going to go into this game, for the Metroidvania, oh right, also, I almost forgot to complain about the map. It's too fucking small.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, my point is, if you're going to buy this for a Metroidvania time, maybe skip it because I don't think it's a very good search action game.
Mm.
Now, as a character focused action platformer, um, shockingly good, like surprisingly good, a hidden gem, if you will. Like, and it's also cheap to boot. As normal price is going for $8, but it was recently on sale for like $2.39. But is this game worth $8? Absolutely. And you can also get it on the Nintendo Switch if you so desire. Um, not on PlayStation or Xbox, which is once again not a surprise since this is an actual Japanese game. Not a tribute to Japanese game design. There is a difference. Um, right then. So, Petty, anything you want to add?
For some reason, it wasn't wanting to work with my controller, but it played okay with keyboard.
Yeah, controller support was a bit spotty. Um, it worked well with my Xbox One, but it didn't have true compatibility. Instead of having Xbox button prompts, it had like button 3 and button 2.
Well, mine was giving me keyboard like it didn't even see my controller. I don't know if that was Steam being stupid or because sometimes Steam just does that.
Yeah. I didn't have any problems with controller recognition. So that sounds like a you problem of
It
some sort.
probably is, but at least it plays okay with keyboard. So
Mm. Which means yeah, this game was made first for the PC, taken into account. Galax, anything from you?
Not besides what I already said, I think.
All right then. Right, so yeah, I think that will do it for this review, and indeed wrap it up for this review session. So coming up on the week ahead, on Wednesday, May 18th, we will be welcoming back to the program Rue of Retro Room Games. Been a while since we've had him on the program. We will be talking about his latest Kickstarter for Analog. That's ANNALOG. A brand new Metroidvania for the NES. Or alternatively, an
And I assume
NES
this one is
Metroidvania.
about some kind of European piece of wood? I'm joking.
Possibly. Anyway, as I was saying, it's more specifically an NES Metroidvania puzzle adventure. Rediscover technology, reprogram machinery, reboot civilization. Analog is a brand new Metroidvania adventure for the NES, featuring a sprawling world, mysterious lore, open-ended puzzles, and heart-pounding boss fights. Explore an unknown post-apocalyptic world littered with abandoned machines that you can freely reprogram to do your bidding. As you uncover the history of how this high-tech civilization once fell, you will be faced with a choice. Do you bring it all back or destroy it forever? I believe this Kickstarter is successful. Yeah, here we go.
Ended late April, so
Yes. It got $27,207 out of a $7,000 goal. So we will be talking about this and probably other things on Wednesday. We also do have a new episode of MSP planned. No Friday show scheduled, but we do have a multiplayer mayhem. Yeah, the one we were supposed to do past Friday, but things came up, and yeah, absolutely no way that was happening last week. Hopefully, this week with Over the Top World War One will be happening. It's kind of touch and go here at the moment. Anyway, more on that on Wednesday. But until then, I shall wish you good gaming.